Hello students, welcome again in the video lecture presentation series on plant ecology. This is the 7th lecture in the series on the topic edaphic factor soil. Generally soil is considered one of the abiotic factor, but as a separate study the soil and soil components are considered as edaphic factor. Myself Dr. Deepak Koche, Professor, Department of Botany, Sri Shivaji College of Arts, Commerce and Science, Akola, Maharashtra, welcoming you in this presentation. We will see some basic introduction regarding this edaphic factor. Then we will go for soil texture, soil structure, then properties of soil. Then we will see soil formation process, then soil profile, and at the end we will see certain aspects of soil biota. Now, even though we are familiar with the soil, technically all the components or all the factors related to the soil are collectively called as the edaphic factors. The upper earth crust of few inches on land mass, it is called as the soil in general. Okay, the soil is very complex medium. A good and fertile soil contains about 40% mineral, 25% air, 10% organic matter and 15% water. The study of soil is usually called as pedology. Coming to the soil texture. Now this soil texture is generally depends on the various minerals which are present on that particular soil. Okay, the combination of various mineral particles in the soil gives a specific texture to a specific soil. Okay, coarse soil texture, it is called as the light soil, and fine soil texture, it has the it is generally known as the heavy soil. Generally the soil texture, on the basis of soil texture, the soils are classified as clay, silt, fine sand, coarse sand, fine gravels and gravels, and the size of the soil particle, it is also differing. Suppose the clay particles, they are having less than 0.002 mm of the diameter or the size. The silt is having 0.002 to 0.02 mm. The fine sand is having 0.02 to 0.2 mm size, while fine gravels is having 2 to 5 mm size, and gravels is generally regarded with the size more than 5 millimeter. Thus the soil texture play important role in nutrient supply, aeration, root development and moisture content of a particular soil. The soil structure is nothing but the arrangement of the soil particles. Now this arrangement of soil particles in earth crust, it is referred as the soil structure. The soil structure generally depends on the soil texture. That means what exactly the texture of that particular soil is, whether it is clay, silt, sand or gravel, whatever it may be. So what, on the basis of that particular soil texture, the soil structure depends on, and again it is the combination of soil texture plus air, moisture and organic matter in that particular soil. Common soil particle aggregates, they are generally regarded as granular or small, spherical or non-porous. They are generally having the structure or the size of less than 0.5 centimeter. Then the soil may be platy thin or flat thin compact soil. Then again there are certain soils which are blocky irregular size, may be aggregate of around 1.5 to 5 centimeter of the size. Then another one is the columnar, which is the vertical columns of soil having silt caps. Okay, that means silt is one of the component of this particular one. A cap of the top, it generally is found in the arid zones. Then prismatic soil. Then vertical columns of soil usually found in the lower zones. They are called as the it is called as the prismatic soil. Then again the single grained soil, it is the soil have individual particles. The particles are loosely arranged and commonly found in sands, as a sands. Okay, the sandy soil is referred as the single grained soil structure. Another one is the physical properties of soil. Now we are moving towards the properties of soil. So here are the physical properties. The first one, density. Now this density, it depends on the particles arranged and the state of withering of the particular rocks. So basically soil formation takes place due to the withering of rock, and when we call as the soil, it is the arrangement or the aggregation of the soil particles. So basically it depends on the particles arrangement and the withering state of the rock. Then the porosity, again it is the space between soil particles of a given volume. Porosity determines the water holding capacity. Okay, water holding capacity of the soil, and also the soil air content. Coarse soil have more porosity. Coarse because its soil particle size is more, therefore it is having more porosity. Then soil temperature, it is influenced by the soil color, texture, water, and altitude and slope of the particular area of that particular soil. Black soil absorb more heat, sand absorb more heat rapidly and also cool down rapidly. Okay, so depending on the types of soil, the soil temperature is also varied. Then the soil atmosphere, it contains, generally soil atmosphere is nothing but the air in the soil. Okay, it contains three gases, that is CO2, O2 and N2. CO2 is more in soil atmosphere than O2. Exactly reverse, which is generally found in case of the atmosphere of in the above the air earth surface. It is influenced by rainfall, temperature, wind and atmospheric pressure. Okay, the next physical property is soil water. Now this soil water is the water available inside the space of soil particles. It acts as solvent for many minerals and organic matters. It supports the life of soil organisms called as the soil microflora. Okay, soil microflora, it includes different bacteria, different microbes, viruses, then fungi, some algal components, etc. Then coming towards the chemical properties of soil. Now this chemical composition of the soil, it consists of organic and inorganic components which are present in the soil. Inorganic component like calcium, magnesium, ferrous, that is iron, sodium, potassium, aluminium, silica. Then trace elements like manganese, zinc, cobalt, then copper. Because these inorganic components, they influence this pH of soil. Again, the organic components like proteins, amino acids, aromatic compounds, sugars, fats, wax, etc., etc., humus, including organic matter components. So these chemical composition of soil greatly influence the plant growth and also developing vegetation. The pH of soil, if you consider, it usually ranges from 2.2 to 9.6. That means extreme acidic to somewhat basic. Okay, depending on pH, soil may be acidic or alkaline. soil pH determines the basically this particular pH is very essential because it has its own impact on developing vegetation. So it can determine the developing vegetation type. Generally acidic soil found in tropical areas, where because these particular regions you having higher rainfall, like in India, Western Ghat, Kerala and Assam. Then again warm and dry climate soil is mostly with basic pH. They are having the pH more than 7. Okay, most preferable pH for crop cultivation is found to be 6 to 8. Okay, it should not be more acidic and it should not be more basic, so it is in between the range of 6 to 8. Now coming towards the another important component, that is soil humus. It is organic component of this particular soil. The soil humus is the complex organic substance resulting from the breakdown of plant material and other organic materials by the process called as the humification. Humification is the process by which this humus has been prepared or formed with the help of raw material like the plant materials and other organic substances. This humification is a natural process but could be done artificially. Generally we used to do as composting. Okay, depending on the level of decomposition, humus could be classified into more, mortar or moon. Now what is more? It is least decomposed humus. It has low biological activities and carbon nitrogen ratio is more than 20. pH is usually acidic and mineral organic complex is very weak. In modern, it is transitional states of decomposition. It has liter of low thickness, around 2 to 3 centimeter. It is medium humified humus. It is humus but not completely decomposed, and its carbon nitrogen ratio is 15 to 25. Its mineral organic complex is again weak. Now mool is the fully decomposed organic matter. It has high biological activities, dark colored, and it is totally humified. Carbon nitrogen ratio is nearly 10 and it creates this stable mineral organic complex in the soil. Coming towards the another process that is called as the soil formation. How soil is formed. Okay, what we had already discussed, that soil is nothing but the few centimeters upper crust lying on the landmass. Okay, so how it is formed? Withering is the natural process of breakdown and transformation of rocks and minerals into the unconsolidated residues called as the rugolith. In other words, the process of transformation of solid rocks into soil is known as the withering process. Now this withering process are of three types: physical withering, it is also called as the mechanical withering, chemical withering, and biological withering. Sometimes physical withering and chemical withering, they put together as physico-chemical withering. Okay, now we will see what exactly happens in this withering process. Now apart from this withering process, this soil formation requires a specific type of climate, because climate is also impacting the soil formation. Then it has specific time requirement. Then parental rock, which type of parental rock is there, that also impact the soil formation and the relief where that particular rock is present. That is also, that altitude or slope, it is also impacting the process of soil formation. Again, the soil flora and fauna in that particular area, it's also affecting in the biological weathering process. So all these things, it should be in if affecting directly or indirectly the soil formation process. Now first of all, we will see the physical weathering process. Now it is the mechanical process. As physical, it is the mechanical process. It causes disruption of consolidated massive rocks into smaller bits without any corresponding chemical change. Now it does not show any change. So suppose there are big rocks, they get break down into these few smaller pieces. Okay, now this weathering process, it requires, or it is the impact or effect of temperature, water and wind, mostly these three. When you consider temperature, the alternate expansion and contraction of rocks due to variation in temperature produces cracks in the rock. The number of cracks slowly increases and the rock get broken down into different pieces. This phenomenon is called as the exfoliation. The dark colored rocks are subjected to the fast change in the temperature due to as compared to the light colored rocks. Okay, that means due to temperature, the dark colored rocks, they get withered more rapidly. Okay, now discussing the water. In cold region, water freezes in the rock joints or the cracks. On freezing, the water expands in volume by about 9% with the force of 150 tons per square foot. And due to this tremendous pressure, the rock splits into two or more than two masses, loose masses of stones, and the moving water has the tremendous transport capacity, which by rolling action grinds and the rocks into the different pieces. Okay, so here waters is used. Okay, then the wind carrying particles in suspension and blowing constantly over the rocks at great speed exert a grinding action. Thereby the rocks get disintegrated. Loosely balanced rock, generally boulders, sometimes roll down by the action of the wind and broken down into the different pieces. So by this temperature, water and winds, they are acting as a force of physical weathering for soil formation. Now coming towards the chemical weathering. Now simply, as we had already discussed, that this particular soil is rocks are composed of different minerals and nutrient components. Now these components, they are having specific lattice structure. Whenever they come into contact with water, they get reacted with water and they form sometimes they form solution, and they get give the hydration reaction. Sometimes hydrolysis takes place, oxidation reaction process takes place, or carbonification takes place. So due to the action of these chemical components or the minerals in the rock and the water, different reactions, chemical reactions are there, and that particular result into the change in change in lattice structure of the original composition of that particular rock, and that break down the rocks into pieces. So thus, by the process of hydration, hydrolysis, oxidation reduction and carbonification, the large rocks can be disintegrated into smaller pieces. So this is about the chemical withering process. Now another one is the biological withering process. Now this biological withering is carried out by living entities. All the animals, plants and microbes, they are responsible for the biological withering. Mostly lower plants and lichens, they contribute most for the biological withering because they usually secrete the some acidic content, and that acidic content generally erode the rock. So in withering, biological withering, they are playing very vital role. These plants and animals secrete some acidic chemicals which corrode the rock and disintegrate it. The organic material is deposited on the surface, which further support the growth of microbes and some smaller plants, and they further add to the deposition of the organic matter and decomposition of the rocks. So these are three different processes by which the soil formation takes place: physical withering, chemical withering and biological withering. Now we will see the soil profile. Now what exactly is the soil profile? Soil profile is nothing but, if you take the vertical section or cross section of our globe, Mother Earth, you will see certain zonation, horizontal zones of different or you can say rocks in different types of withering conditions. So that particular section, it is called as the soil profile. So the vertical section of earth crust about 6 feet up to the depth is called as the soil profile. The soil profile vary from place to place. It is not exactly कि वो हर जगह पे शायद अलग अलग हो. Okay. Now this, it is also depends on climate, vegetation and parental rocks. Parental rocks, because parental rocks means the rocks by which that particular soil is formed of. Okay. Now जिस तरह का वो पेरेंटल रॉक होगा, जो न्यूट्रिएंट उसमें होंगे वो वही न्यूट्रिएंट उस सॉइल में आएंगे. सो दैट इज द सिंपल कंसेप्ट. डिपेंडिंग ऑन प्लेस, soil profile shows 6 different horizons or layers. Okay, O horizon, that is usually called as the organic or litter zone. The second one is A horizon, it is called as the topsoil. Then B horizon, it is called as the subsoil. C horizon, it is called as the withered rock. D horizon, it is less withered rock. Then R horizon, it is the unwithered bedrock. Okay, here you can say that O horizon, generally it is called as the organic or the humus zone or the litter zone. Then topsoil, subsoil, then withered rock, then bedrock. We will see the details in the coming days. The details of soil profile that we will see here. In O horizon, it is also called as the organic or the litter zone. It contains fresh or partially decomposed organic matter. It is rich in saprophytic fungi, bacteria and protozoa and some other microbes also. It undergoes changes with respect to the soil temperature and moisture content of that particular area. This particular zone is mostly present in forest, but it is found to be absent in the soil profile of deserts, grasslands and agricultural fields. Okay, now coming towards the next one, A horizon. A horizon, it is the topsoil. Okay, it is also called as the zone of elevation. Now this particular A horizon, it is again classified into A1, A2 and A3 horizon. Now in A1 horizon, it is rich in humus, dark colored, rich in minerals. It is also rich in fungi and bacteria, that is decomposing microbes. Then A2 horizon, it is zone of maximum leaching. Less humus is found in this particular area. Light colored soil is there. Then it contains silicate, clay, iron oxide and aluminum oxides are removed in this particular zone. In A3 horizon, it is transitional zone between horizon A and horizon B. Now coming towards the horizon B, it is called as the zone of elevation, that is collection, zone of collection. Okay, it may be further divided sometimes into B1, B2, B3. Okay, it is the firm zone, basically granular, and generally contains the prismatic soil particles. It is the deep colored, having organic colloids and rich in clay. The roots of shrubs and trees reaches to up to this particular level. Now coming towards the zone C, horizon C, it is thick and contain large masses of withered mineral rock material. It has less oxygen with grey colored soil particles. It is rich in calcium sulfate and calcium carbonate. Okay, now in D horizon, it is nothing but the bedrock and is in active state of withering. In the R horizon, it is the lowermost layer of the soil profile. It is intact and as a parental rock, and no withering is seen in this particular R horizon. Okay, now we will see the soil biota, that is biotic components which are found in the soil. Now mostly the plants, animals and microbes are important component of soil. Okay, they together form the soil biota. Okay, the soil microbes mostly play vital role in decomposition, in soil fertility and soil porosity. Now it has been found that soil biota is composed of soil microflora, like it contains certain bacteria, certain viruses, fungi and algae. The soil microflora, it generally contains oxalophytes in acidic soil, halophytes in saline soil, psammophytes in sandy soil, lithophytes which are found in rocky soils or on the rocks, and psammophytes in the crevices of the rock. Okay, again this soil microfauna, we found that protozoa and nematodes are more. Okay, soil mesofauna, it contains micro arthropods and insect larvae. Then if you see the macrofauna, in most of the cases of the soil, insects, grasshoppers, ants, earthworms and snakes are found as a soil macrofauna. Okay, so likewise we had seen soil, what exactly is the soil, soil texture, soil structure, soil properties. Then we had seen soil formation, okay, a withering process, and then we had seen the soil profile and soil biota. I hope further in soil biota we can say that this most microbial population is found in soil 6 to 12 inches of in the depth. Bacteria constitute the highest biomass of this microbial population. Then bacteria and actinomycetes decompose cellulosic and chitin materials. Some bacteria fix nitrogen and some are denitrifying bacteria. Again, the bacterial sticky exudates helps the soil particles to bind and hold the water. That means it is also having the role in water holding capacity. Fungal mycelia decomposes and degrade the organic materials and assimilate the cellulose. Okay, mycorrhizal fungi are useful for plants and they provide moisture and help to assimilate the minerals from the soils. However, The pathogenic fungi sometimes you may found there, nematodes and pests affect the plants growth and development. So I think I had tried my best to explain about the soil as an edaphic factor and how this soil is affecting the growth and development of plants, that I have tried to explain here. Okay. If you have any query, you can comment on this video, and again we will meet very soon in the next lecture, video lecture, or on this plant ecology. Till then, goodbye. Thank you very much.